This episode is powered by Celsius. Now, whether you're in the gym or you're on the run or, hey, you're just doing a podcast, grab yourself a can of Celsius and live fit. Kenny Santucci with another episode of the Strong New York podcast, and I'm very excited today because an old friend has come to town. And about 6 years ago, I get a call and somebody says to me, hey, the owner of HYROX wants to come meet with you. And I'm like, what is this? What's it all about? And here we are 6 years later, with almost 1 million people who have been participants in HYROX. And it's so exciting to have him here. My good buddy, we've had many nights out together, Christian Toetzke. Did you ever think, right? I remember the first meeting we had, we were sitting there and you were telling me about it and you were so passionate about it. And I had tried it that summer when you guys did the little pop-up downtown at your at your buddy's place.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know much about it, but I go, this is something that works because as a gym owner and somebody who's trying to get people, what I did differently at my gym was I took a lot of the high-risk CrossFit stuff out and we started to get this influx of people because there's a demand for people who want to work out. But would you say that you're responsible for the birth of the hybrid athlete? Right? These people who want to work out,
of course,
but they don't want the high-risk CrossFit stuff.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Kenny, to have me on your podcast.
Of course, thank you for being here.
And what a journey in 6 years, right? Well, you can say so. I'm not claiming it. I think we created the category. Let's say we gave this category a name.
Yes.
And a competition, of course.
Well, you've given this avatar a place to train and something to look forward to. I think in life, a lot of people are looking for purpose, and especially in the gym, they're like, well, what am I going for? Because if you're only going for the aesthetics, eventually you get to this point where you're like, what am I doing? And people fall off. But now you've given people a purpose to train for something that they can actually train for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, that was the whole basic idea to start that, because fitness was a phenomenon. It's so successful, but it's indeed 99% of the people did it because of aesthetics, maybe health reasons, burning calories.
Yeah.
No one plays tennis. That's not the primary motivation to play tennis, I assume. You play tennis because you want to win the point.
Yeah.
It's a gamification that keeps you in the game. So I think that's why the churn rate in gym membership was very low, or is still relatively low. Because you sign up in January after Christmas and everyone is gaining pounds.
And then that falls off after 2 weeks.
And then in April they fall off. They say, I received my goal. They leave the membership and then they come back in January. Because this piece was missing, which is driving any other sport in the world, that you have this other purpose to train for. And it doesn't matter how good you are. That's very important to understand. Like golf or tennis, I mean, you can play it on every level. Most of the people are not really good in it and still play it. And I think that was missing for fitness, to give also this whole industry another engine, another driver, to even become more popular as it already is.
Well, take us back, 2017, right?
Yeah.
CrossFit's around, you got a lot of this adventure racing. What spawned this idea? What were you like? Because it's a huge venture. Like when you first explained it to me and we were sitting there looking at the logistics of how you have to plan out a race.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is a logistical nightmare. This is hard. What gave you the idea? Why these certain workouts? Kind of walk us through that whole.
Yeah. So I have this background in
endurance,
classical endurance, mass participation events like Ironman, marathon, cycling events. So there are not many people in the world that have done that much on a global scale in that area. So
it's a lot of the same users all the time.
Well, the logistics are similar, and how to organize that amount of people in a race. But okay, now, and the idea was, I was always a gym person, and I said, okay, why is there no event existing for these people, which is based around what most of these people do in the gym? And of course, you have to understand that marathon running, when you break it down, it's a very simple movement, apparently, right? You just run. Yeah. Everyone can run. It's just brutally long, but everyone can run.
Anybody could finish it if they wanted.
And now the people learned, if I put some work in, I can finish it. That's why it's so popular, because there's no barrier from the technical aspect or from, because everyone can run, so that's very easy. So I said, okay, we have to find a formula to create a competition which is really based around what most of the people do in every gym, which is, by the way, a lot of cardio and not strength training. If you go to every Equinox or Crunch or whatever, usually what you see is this large room of
people
cardio machines.
Yeah.
So they're on these treadmills or they're on these steppers, etc., and then they do some functional fitness workout after. You barely in a normal gym see people lifting barbells.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's only in the CrossFit.
That doesn't mean it's wrong or something. This is just the reality.
Well, the barrier of entry is lower, so
exactly.
people can do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I said, okay, we have to approach a fitness race from the cardio angle, of the running angle, because that's what most people do. And then you mix the strength workouts in, etc. And then, of course, it was a complex process to find a formula. How do you do that? And like 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people can do it on the same day. That's logistically very complex because HYROX is by far the most complex mass participation event. If you compare it with a marathon race, it's the easiest thing to do. Everyone runs from A to B, one movement.
Yeah.
And we have all these different runs and we have 8 different workouts. It's very complex. It took me a while to figure the formula out, the logistics, how this can work. But apparently it seems it works pretty well, actually, like a machine, like an oiled Swiss clockwork or something like it, which is quite amazing.
It's so impressive because I remember, and take me through the pitch, right? Like, because you had to get some guys backing you up, some investors and stuff, some people who believed in what you were doing. But, I saw it when we first chatted. I was like, this could be really big. If this hits the right way, it could be really big. But there had to be some points where, like, you're fundraising for this and people are like, this is a crazy idea. Going through COVID, I remember that, like, because I was working with you guys in 2020, and there were some dark moments. How many times were you like, all right, I'm going to throw the towel in, or did you always know that it was going to be this?
Yeah, I was always very convinced that this will work, because there's another aspect which I like to explain all the time. It's not just, what I try to achieve is not just a race for the gym fitness community. I also wanted to create what I believe is the healthiest way of training when you prepare for an event. Which is a very important aspect, because if people understand that, it will probably pull even more people in. And then I want to combine that with hopefully one of the most exciting mass participation events you can do. But the training is very important because you spend much more time training for something for the event than the event itself.
Yeah.
Same with marathon, right? You have to run hours and hours and hours for these 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours on event day. So I wanted to find the perfect balance here, with a very healthy way of training, which keeps you all well-rounded fit. And I thought we have found the formula. And then for me, it was always a matter of time that the people understand that. So I was very confident all the way. Okay, if COVID was a worst case scenario, which you can make up, an indoor mass participation sport event. I mean, come on, nothing was more horrible. But we found other ways during COVID to use the company and the people, which was a magical story, which really a crazy story, which also helped us very much to survive and come even stronger out of COVID than before.
It's impressive. So, like, what was that strategy? Because I remember, I think we had talked once or twice during COVID, and I was like, what's the plan? What are you guys going to do? And you basically didn't have anything for about a year?
No more, 1.5, 2 years.
Yeah.
No, so here's the story. It's complex. I will try to explain it very quickly. For me, it was very quickly clear they will not allow us to come back with events very soon. So how can we find a way to make this safe? So I started to look into pre-testing, like COVID fast tests. I figured out at the time, which was crazy, no one of the government was looking into that option. So I did research and we found some providers in Korea that had these fast tests. I worked out the concept, and we had a solution that we were sure we can test everyone very quickly before they go into the hall, and then you create basically the most safe environment during COVID in the world. I pitched this to the government, and they said, "Oh, it's an amazing idea, but we can't approve it because it will deliver the wrong pictures." So we say everyone, don't meet anyone, not more than 3 people, and then there are pictures of 3,000 people doing a fitness event in the hall. But they said, but it's interesting, can you go to industries that are essential, but that have to continue to produce stuff? And back in the day, the problem was if one person was infected by COVID, they had to shut down the whole factory for like a week or longer.
It was a pain in the ass.
So I started to make deals with companies where we tested all the employees before they came to the factory.
Okay.
So it's essential businesses, right, that had to continue. And then the government switched their strategies to these free testing. And we became one of the biggest operators of testing centers in Germany.
Wow.
Because we had the people, and we are a logistics company somehow. And we did that, I think.
So that's kind of took you guys straight
We
through.
were running, I think, 120, 150 test sites. We had to hire
incredible.
1,500 people in a very short time.
So you employed more people during that?
No, we were exploding.
Yeah.
But suddenly we made money, and it helped us to survive that. And then we could, suddenly we had the budgets to continue to keep the brand alive.
Yeah.
With virtual competitions. We did the virtual world championships where we had 6 athletes competing in like a sealed room.
But you got so creative with it, which was so impressive. And then you were constantly, I remember during that time, you guys were pumping out workouts. You were like, hey, here's the HYROX workout of the week or the month. And coming out of COVID, I think there was still kind of this like, all right, what is this? There wasn't a lot of buy-in.
Of course.
And then last year, I'd say April, May, boom, it explodes.
Yeah. Well, here's the story. We came out of COVID, and we did the first event in the UK. Because UK had this policy. There was a long shutdown. And then they said, okay, now it's over. We have to reopen. We will not do another lockdown after. So we could do the event, but it was like September in 21.
Okay.
September, October. And the announcement came very shortly. So all the traditional mass participation events, they need much more lead time to organize it, like a marathon race with road closures and everything. We are an indoor event, so we could react quite quickly. So I think we were one of the first events after lockdown where people go and meet other people and do a larger event. However, I just read an article today that event had 631 finishers.
Wow.
But it was funny because then we were the only product around. So we started then to do another event in Manchester in December, winter time, when no other traditional endurance product can put on any events because it's too cold, right? It's snowing outside. That event suddenly ramped up to 3,000 people.
Wow.
And then we had another London event in April, and that was the first sold-out event with 5,000 people.
So you were just doubling down on London. Yeah.
I don't know why UK picked it up in a way. So suddenly UK was a driver, and suddenly, of course, I had also the proof of concept that it works. It attracts people in a larger size. And then indeed, US took us a bit longer. It was a bit more complicated with all the noise around fitness in America. And the tipping point was last year's New York City event in summer, which was the first sold-out event, 5,500 people, an amazing day. I think the best event weather ever in history of events.
It was such a good vibe that day. It was incredible.
And since then, it was a tipping point in the US. Since then, we are selling out every event in the US.
Yeah. So now, 2 weeks ago, you had 3 days. Every day was sold out. You got 5,000 people. 15,000.
Yeah.
5,000, 5 per day.
Yeah.
So you're standing there, right? That Sunday night. When was the moment where you were like, holy shit, this is it? Like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, I had moments before that in other parts of the world where we already had events with 15,000 people. So I had several of these moments. Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, what can I say? I'm standing there, and the crowd was. It's not only the athletes, right? There was another.
Now you have spectators.
There were another 15,000 spectators. So
yeah.
I think 30,000, 35,000 people came out. Yeah, every day I'm just. But you know, it's crazy what we do right now. We had at that weekend we had 3 other events in the world, right? Cardiff,
Italy,
Rimini, and Riga. So we had 50,000 people competing.
That's incredible.
I just sometimes I don't have the time to really think about it because I'm just, you know, we are always going on, and the next event is around the corner.
Well, to that point, right? It's growing so fast, right?
Yeah.
You guys have amazing partnerships. You got guys doing this in 52, 53 minutes.
Yeah.
You have all this demand for it. What's next, and how do you keep up with it?
Yeah, I think we have to stay very humbled. We know it's a blessing that the people are now picking it up in the way they do. We have a very clear strategy. So number one is always we have to try everything we can to provide the best product we can provide to our community, to the athletes. So one are the events, right? So we will continue to make the events. Every year people can expect that the events will be better than the year before. And we will continue to invest.
In like just the logistics, the way it's laid
everything
out.
look and feel.
Yeah,
I want it to look as premium as possible. I want the people to have the feeling they're going to Olympic Games.
Yeah. Well, what I love about it is the entrance, right? I think the first time you guys did that, it was last year. I was in Florida. I did the Florida race, and you had the Red Bull tunnel and the music and stuff. I'm like, this is fucking cool. That was a great addition to like, because I was there in Florida in 2019, and it's just like, all right, go ahead, go.
No. Next season we will ramp this up another time with our partner Red Bull.
Yeah.
So we have cool ideas for the tunnel to make it, let's say, even more special.
Yeah.
Look, these are the 2 focus points right now, 3 at the events. The starting moment, because that's what sticks, and then the final moment. We have this privilege to have probably
the coolest
opportunity, because everyone spends 5 to 10 minutes at the wallballs, which is basically your finish. So if we couldn't do it here in New York this year because of the space requirements, you know, in other events we are creating now the stadium kind of gladiator feeling when you come to the wallballs, and we will invest more money into that moment, more LED boards. I wanted like flashing that. So we're working on so that your name pops up when you come to the wallballs.
That's cool.
And the finish moment with the stage. And now you see that music becomes a bigger play. Next year in New York, one of the ideas is, and we're also going more into the nighttime, which creates amazing.
Oh, the backdrops.
Backdrops, right? And now I want to bring in like maybe some popular DJs. Okay. So you really have like a headliner.
Yeah.
DJ, and you have like even the schedule of which DJs are playing on what day and what time.
Yeah.
And people come, whatever, Diplo is playing Saturday night, and they come to see the race and their friends, but also to listen to the music.
Yeah, I think that's going to add a whole other like level of attraction. I think the entertainment value is you're building it in. It's there. I think it's a better sport to watch. Like millions of people come out to watch the New York City Marathon, but after somebody passes you by, that's it. Whereas like there's this entertainment value where you can sit and spectate on, you can watch somebody do the skier or the rower or whatever may be going on. It's actually really fun to watch. You nailed down the entertainment. As far as the race goes, is there an obstacle that you would pull out, you'd want to put in, you know, because these guys are finishing it so fast, right? I mean, it's only a matter of time before somebody gets under 50.
Yeah, which is great. Which
is incredible. So like, do you adjust? Do you make the weights heavier? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think another part of success is that it has this consistency.
Of course.
We're not changing anything.
When you told me that years ago, and I was like, no, you should make it, and you were like, no, we're going to stick to the plan. I go,
now look, every other sport in the world, more or less every other sport, every Olympic sport has not changed anything
in thousands of years,
in hundreds of years, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
No one is running now 120 meters because they think, it's cooler if we have 2 seconds more or something. The beauty is that 9.58 seconds is the fastest time a human being has ever done. And they're not changing the distance of marathon running. Even though maybe from the, you can say from the health aspect or whatever, for the masses it would be better if it would be a bit shorter. But the beauty is lying in the consistency, and people can compare their times over decades. And they can do the same thing with HYROX. And it doesn't matter that the fast guys get fast. But look, it's still the longest strength endurance event on highest level that is existing. At the Olympic, it's outside of the marathon run. If you look at the Olympic Games, I don't think any other competition outside of cycling or marathon running that is longer. Everything else is a 10,000 meter run is the longest run in track and field, and that's 25 minutes. So it's already a tough challenge to stay, and you know what these guys are doing, right? They're running with 100% heart rate for 53 minutes. I mean, there's not a single moment where you can rest or you should.
Like if you're going to hit that time, you have to have your foot on the throttle the whole time.
Yeah,
it's so impressive.
So I also try to explain. I know everyone, especially in America, was asking me, "Oh, you have to change the workouts all the time." I said, "Okay, I know it's coming from the CrossFit history and DNA, because CrossFit is based around that, which is all fine." I said, "No, once you do something for time." It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to do it as fast as possible or faster than any other human being has ever done it, it becomes a very, very complex thing. And you need years and years of training. So I always come back to the most simple example, which is 100-meter running. I think everyone can run 100 meters, like everyone in the world. But to run it in 9.58 seconds is impossible for it. So you need to train decades to be that fast for this sub 10 seconds. So for me, that's what I mean. The length of something, that's not the play here. It's exciting to now see that. The next step is, can someone go sub 53 minutes in single pro man? And suddenly you have a major story, because it's a world record, and maybe, I'm sure we will see the day, I don't know when this will come, but where someone is breaking the 50-minute mark. But maybe it takes as long as marathon running to break the 2-hour mark. There seems to be a natural barrier at some point.
Well, there was a point where I was just like, oh, it's going to have to change. But after this conversation, I think you've kind of sold me on the idea that it does make more sense to keep it what it is. And even if somebody does it, I mean, listen, let's just say the world record in 10 years from now is 43 minutes.
That's impossible.
Which is impossible.
I think sub 50, we will probably see that. But I think 50 minutes is like the 2-hour barrier in marathon running. I don't think we will see a 1 hour 50.
That's a long time to be aerobic.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to be.
That's a long time to be aerobic. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. But I think what you've done so well is make the barrier of entry so low that anyone could do it. But also have it at the point where it's hard for somebody who's an elite athlete to be really good at it. When it came to picking the exercises, was that all you, or did you have some?
No, we had Mintra Tilly, who's our, since day one, our global race director. She was a special forces instructor, coach, whatever, because she was married to a Marine. First husband, and she was very much into training everything, and I knew her, and then I said, I need an expert who's coming out of the fitness. She was also involved in CrossFit and other stuff, and we developed, I had the logistical concept, and she came up with all the different workouts we can do, and then, so we had a number of principles. One was, it has to be natural movements to keep it inclusive. Natural movements means everyone can do it, even you have never done it. Everyone can push a sled. Even you have never pushed a sled. But everyone has to push the car or something. That's called natural movements. You can't make it wrong, but you will be not fast, right?
But you also can't get hurt doing it.
Exactly. And natural movements have a dramatically lower risk of injuries. So, and then you have, then there are some natural movements, and then we said it has to be gender equal so that men and women can do the same even on lower fitness levels. So that keeps also out some of the workouts. Injury risk keeps some workouts out. And then you have the logistical aspect. How can we do that we can handle the judging? Which is still a problem. We have to do a lot of work to keep the judging quality and increases further up, which is now going better and better and better because the judges are coming all out of the community. But we would have created a concept where you would have needed one judge per athlete for every station. You end up with, you need 600 per shift, etc. It's impossible to handle that. So we needed events or workouts where the judging is easy, like a row erg, because the row economic is a monitor, right?
Turn it on and it's off.
So I don't, I mean, you can't cheat. You row, and once the kilometer is done, you run off. So you select, and a good mix of machine-based workouts and body weights and with weights. That's why also pushing a sled is a great, it's first of all an amazing workout, but also it's easy to judge because you go 4 times, and we have the timing chip that is controlling that you really do 4 times.
Which is also like the whole technology aspect of it has got to be, on point. But I think you guys have done such a great job with that. And somebody was telling me there was a counter on the ball now, the wall balls, which is so impressive.
Yeah, that's a new innovation. We put a lot of money into that.
Yeah.
That you have a sensor target, and the counting is automatically. So you have to hit the target right, otherwise it doesn't count. But you can't complain because this is really
it's
100% accurate machine, so which takes out the human aspect of judging failure and you keep it more consistent.
Yeah. You've had so many huge athletes in the CrossFit space. I've now seen some NFL players and some different athletes from all over the world. 2 things that I was wondering about. One, you're going to have people who are like training for this, who are, gassing themselves up. You're seeing in the Olympics now, like they have this advanced games where people are using PEDs and stuff. But also, who's come along, who's done the race where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool that they've done it, like a celebrity of some sort.
Yeah, okay. More and more of these guys are coming. We recently had KSI doing the race in Berlin.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea who he is, but my son was there with me, and he was, oh my God, there's KSI. Yeah. So I went to him and said, hey, amazing, thank you very much. And he did the race with another YouTuber who's also huge, I forgot his name.
Okay.
I learned later
how big of a guy. Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, 25 million followers, etc. Of course, we are lucky that we have Chris Hemsworth supporting
HYROX.
HYROX.
He's done it too.
Yeah, he's
a center guy. Yeah.
But he's now coming out to Australian events, and it can't be bigger than him. We had Patrick Wilson last weekend.
I just saw that, yeah.
He did the race, and the tight end from the New York Giants. We are very honored that all these CrossFit guys are coming out now. Matt Fraser did it in Las Vegas.
I saw Matt Fraser.
And Tia basically really shifted over to HYROX. So we will see her in a week in Chicago. It's in the World Championships in doubles. This is a great thing. We are combining these people, and with our partners Puma, we're working on some cool ideas to bring like some of the biggest Puma stars out to try out a HYROX event. But it's not about celebrities, I have to say that. For me, the biggest celebrities are these people that go out there and you think, when you see them, you think no way they can finish it. And they grind through the whole thing. And that's, for me, I have to say, more impressive than if someone has 24 million YouTube followers. Even though I also appreciate him coming out, he's a nice guy.
Well, I've just seen so many adaptive athletes now taking on. Like I saw a guy the other day who had a special Puma shoe and doing the wall balls and stuff. And it's just incredible that like you're inspiring people and they want to be judged the same way everyone else is. They're like, no, I want to sit down. Like I saw the lady like kind of give him a rep and he's like, no. So it's very cool. There must be so many moments where you must like pinch yourself and just see if it's real.
No, it is. The pinching moment, I said this, sometimes you forget to pinch yourself. It goes fast. like I said, it's a crazy journey. We are super humbled to be in that position, and it's also a responsibility, right? To not fuck it up at some point.
Yeah.
And people, of course, when you get that big, there's always people complaining about stuff, which I totally appreciate. It's impossible to make everyone all the time happy. So I'm telling you, there's a big discussion about the ticket distribution, but what do you do so we're increasing the capacity in crazy speed, but the demand is growing faster. So in the UK or in Europe, basically, every event sells out in a minute.
Every minute you send somebody out.
They're selling out in a minute.
Wow.
So we go live, and then we have 60,000 people that want one of the 15,000 tickets. It's super, what can you do? It's super complicated. And then the demand is so high that the systems break down, and we try to fix it and get better. And now we have 2 dropping points so that if you miss the first one, you have another chance at 5 p.m. It's whatever you do, it's difficult. We tried the ballot system in the UK. So you apply, and then you randomly select people, and they get a notification. That had other implications because it works for marathon because they have only one race division, but we have singles, doubles, relays, so people are signing up for multiple different events, and then so that made the ballot complicated. There's a lot of
logistics
challenges in a positive way. It's a luxury situation, but we try to fix it to make everyone happy, which is sometimes difficult. I can only say to everyone, we try always to find the best solution for the community, and sometimes they might not see it directly in the first place, because we had services like the rebooking, which was a great idea. The amount of rebooking volume, because the events are getting so big, we are coming in like 2 days before the race. It was impossible to handle anymore. And then people are getting upset because they don't get a response, because we get 5,000 emails or 10,000 emails. So we had to change the system. And the only thing I want to say is we always try, and they can be 100% assured, and we think a lot about this, and we take every feedback very seriously. We try to always find the best solution for the community and everyone. And the next thing is to even make the events more exciting.
I think listen, if anybody out there doesn't understand what a logistic, one of the things that I've gotten feedback from clients who've done it, friends who've done it, everyone says how well it's run, which is very impressive, because if you think about the logistics that go involved, the space, all the people, the judging, all that stuff comes into play, and you guys are doing a really good job of that. Since we are in New York, and we've always talked about this being like the place where things would pop off, and everything would go viral. What could people expect next year here in New York?
We have to talk to Hudson River Park, of course, about the duration of it. People can expect that we will have a lot of more days next year. More than 3 for sure. We will continue the night sessions because I thought they were magic, even though we had this thunderstorm warning, which was difficult to handle, but what can we do? So that came from the fire department and police. And then it just missed New York. But however, they can expect, I think, an amazing festival of fitness, multiple days, maybe a week. We will invest a lot into that venue because it's a very special venue, right? New York is special in many ways. It's the only outdoor event we do
in the
so
US.
far. In the world.
In the world, wow, okay.
So that has challenges, weather challenges, but we will invest next year significant money to make it as safe as possible, so that whatever the weather is, everyone is doing the race. It's still a great experience. Of course, if the sun is shining, it's always nicer. We will come up with very cool things, I think, with regards to music. I think it will be the biggest festival of fitness the US has seen to that point in a year, and everyone can be excited. And I want to create a little bit of a battle between New York, London, Amsterdam, Berlin.
Maybe some like team,
Hong Kong.
country team
No,
competition.
but also like, okay, look, New York, we can show them this. This is still New York.
I love that. Yeah.
You're still this inch cooler than the others.
Than everybody else.
Which is a challenge because we just sold out today the next London event in Excel with 40,000 tickets, which is insane.
And you said there was what, 40,000 people.
Come on, New York, we can do 40,000 in New York, right?
Well, you said you had a couple thousand, what, 20,000, 30,000 on the wait list here in New York? Yeah. I mean, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Christian, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks, buddy.
Guys, I would, normally I always tell people, hey, where can everybody find you? But I think everybody's found you, and I think your inbound emails is probably packed with people. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Strong New York podcast. Obviously, like, subscribe, share with a friend, and there are probably some hybrid athletes out there, watching this and think, what's next? Well, you heard it from the man himself, the CEO, the founder, the boy in charge. Christian, thank you so much again.
Too unfit, working too much.
Yeah. Well, how many races have you done now at this point?
I maybe 100, but I do.
It's incredible.
Yeah, well, I have to say I'm also the world record holder in not finishing a race because I start a race to test the course and everything, and I'm finished after 4 or 5 workouts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it's pretty impressive because you're the CEO who lives and breathes what he talks about. So that's
who's very
impressive.
old.
No, you look great, man. You look like you have the age of you.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.